So my man Deshaun, he's already hot in the streets, right in the midst of maybe getting traded or headed to a better place. What are our thoughts on that? We'll start with you, Hollow.
I think that it's real convenient that all of a sudden, when Homeboy wants to leave, all these sexual allegations are coming out. And the fact that he says, no matter what you guys offer me or whatever you guys say to me, I'm not going to stay. I'm going to leave no matter what coach you pick, what players you put around me. Anything you try to do, bring all the black coaches, as many as you want to bring here. I'm leaving no matter what. I just think it's a little fishy. Um, the timing couldn't be any more perfect. And who knows? I'm really in conspiracy land right now. So we'll see how this goes.
Uncle Salty, what do you think?
The Texans organization to lower the draft stock of Deshaun before they decide to deal him. You know, they're trying to make it so he's not worth 5 first-round picks, et cetera, so they can get him out of town. Although the allegations seem pretty credible, I still feel like it's kind of a hit job. I mean, what the girls are alleging that he did was that he asked for happy endings from professional masseuses, which is generally frowned upon. But, you know, this seems to be pretty popular in the NFL, even among the ownership. And we saw the very, very difficult penalty they handed out to Patriots ownership for similar allegations. So we'll see where this leads Deshaun.
I thought it was terrible in the sense of not only did it seem like a smear campaign, as we talked a little bit off the air, Uncle, but it's more so the tact. I mean, how are you releasing court documents on Instagram?
Well, it's public
You know,
record. Anytime you sue somebody, it's public record.
hmm.
So that's why
I
it's never
I got
close.
you could have maybe released it to a reporter or to a news network. I mean, is that where we're headed now? Like as soon as something gets bombed, now it goes through social media. Is that now our new news outlets?
But it's been like that for me the last 5 to 7 years. It's been that. It's always
Uh, yeah,
breaking on Twitter.
of news break. Yeah, a lot of news breaks on Twitter and Instagram and things of that nature now. And it doesn't actually have to be from credible sources, which is the real problem, is that there's a lot of people reporting media who aren't really professional in any way. They're just people with a cell phone. But again, I feel like these allegations are kind of credible, unfortunately.
It just I know reading some of the accusers. Like one girl said she just felt uncomfortable because he was naked. Like one of the suits. Like as a masseuse, you're gonna encounter a client being naked. Like depending on how that client likes to get a massage. So like, are you like did he touch you or you just felt uncomfortable that he was naked while you were going to give him a massage? Like those are two different things that hopefully that one allegation, happens. And then the other one supposedly that she touched his penis. What happens if he was naked, turned, and then like hit her hand kind of thing? Like I'm not trying to discredit these women, but we don't know. Like I just find the timing odd.
I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna jump in real quick, okay? Because I read the second accusation, and the young lady basically said that when he brought him in, he was saying, let's say he was having problems in his upper thigh area and in his glutes. She was working on that area from the back, so he was laying down. I don't think she came out and said anything about her feeling uncomfortable. Maybe that would have been the first claim. I looked into it slightly, but I looked more into the second claim because I didn't really believe so much the first one. Not that it didn't have credibility, but the fact that it was coming from a relation from the Houston Texans had me a little worried. So anyways, he turns over, and a part of the complaint is that he kept like moving her hand closer to his Johnson and then just kept asking her, are you okay with this? Are you okay with this? Are you okay with this? Eventually until he got to the shaft and he exposed himself to her, and she said she wasn't okay after him exposing herself to him. So obviously this is gonna have to be looked at further. But at the same token, I just think that this looks really, really bad on Deshaun.
I think it's a perfect timing, though. I think it's a perfect storm. It's like I said, he's a black quarterback who just wants to get out of the situation. And let's not forget that the Texans owner was the one who said we can't let the inmates run the asylum. You know, like we can't forget that. So it could be this power structure where, look, James Harden bounced from the Rockets. Now you have another prominent superstar who wants to leave the Texans. You know, and one thing I could commend Deshaun is on coming out and saying, I didn't do this shit. Because you have a lot of guys who would just stay quiet, stay behind their lawyer, and let the lawyer release a statement and just let the due process. He's like, fuck that. I didn't do shit. Like, they could accuse me all they want. I didn't do anything, and I'm waiting to clear my name. I think most innocent people aren't going to go that route. They're going to stay a little quiet. You know, the people who are guilty are going to stay quiet and try to let their lawyers, you know, dictate this, let the league, you know, whatever. And then now the league, Roger Goodell could still suspend him even if he's innocent.
Right.
Because the CBA, these fucking cocksuckers, go and sign a horrible CBA, and now he's you know, judge, jury, and executioner. So it doesn't even matter if he's innocent, and if the girls come out and say he didn't do anything to us, he could still get suspended 8-9 games and still get game checks. So
this is my concern. And I know you said public record, but this is brutal. And I'm going to use a word that Uncle Salty and I throw around a lot right now. In this toxic masculinity climate, right? In the climate of this, you can't just smear people's whole lives by dropping shit like this. This is crazy. This could cost this kid his career. This could cost him future endorsements. I mean, he could literally get banned from the league for this.
And his 100 whatever record contract could get voided for detrimental to the league, like what happened with Antonio Brown and the Raiders. So who knows if the Texans are setting that up too, so where they could get out from under the $170 million they're paying him over the next 4 or 5 years. So that could be another avenue.
I'm gonna let Uncle Salty chime in 1 second, but this is what I want to know. I think we know guys pretty well, right? How did you not know that he was kind of disgruntled? Why would you sign him for such a big deal and just let him hit free agency? Like, the Houston Texans have a bigger problem than just ownership and front office issues, because this is something that's been boiling obviously for a minute, right? And homeboy's been running for his life for a hot second. Like, I don't know why they signed him to this long-term deal. And literally a year after, you have all these problems.
It's really poor ownership. I mean, that's what it's indicative of. And especially, you know, when you're dealing with an entirely black employee, and then you say some undercover racist inmates from the asylum. If I'm a black player, I want out there. And I don't want to do anything to help you make any money going forward. Actually, it would make me root against your team over and over and over, because what kind of asshole would I be playing for a dude that thinks of me as an inmate, even though I'm still a multi-million-dollar athlete and one of the highest profile people in the entire country. But to the guy who signed checks, I'm an inmate. Yeah, the Texans, their whole organization, they're going to be bad for a long, long time. And I honestly think that this sort of, I mean, with all of the players that are getting massages and flying in masseuses, I'm thinking that these happy endings are a little more commonplace than everybody is admitting to. And I think that this might be going on in a lot of the organizations, just now that Deshaun is in the bad spirits with this team, that now they're just kind of putting it out there. Like, it's something that they have on a bunch of players, but you know, it's something that nobody really talks about because it's just kind of part of the deal.
But if you go back to it, look at
that wouldn't surprise me.
Everybody's forgotten about Big Ben and his rape allegations. Why? Because he's a white boy. Like, everything was swept under the rug.
Me and Uncle Salty talked about it yesterday. It's totally true.
They just let that swept him under the rug and they let it be. Nobody brings it up.
I think that I do a lot. I think Big Ben's a freaking scumbag. It's, you know, especially when you're married. don't bother getting married if you're gonna not only chase other women. I mean, that's fine, but
He was technically single when that happened, and like people got in his camp and were like, "Get married immediately to clean up the image that you've put out there." And so now he kind of, this is me throwing a little bit more like fluff to it. He basically became like a born again Christian after the whole fucking thing. So it was just like, oh, he's repented, and now we moved forward, and he made a bad decision under the influence. Meanwhile, he had offensive linemen at the front door of the restroom, according to the court document that was released on that. So this is the problem, and this is the thing with the NFL, and this is why I keep banging on my chest about LBJ. Dude's gotta just start retiring. But like the best players have to start maybe taking to task some of this ownership. It's so unfair. No one ever gets paid. No one ever gets paid, and it's ridiculous. And every time you're trying to get paid and you're a little too dark to be dark, there's some problems. You know what I mean? There's always some issues. Always. And you gotta be able to, I guess, dodge it. Like, I don't even know how he put himself in this situation. Even if he came close enough, let's say what Hala was saying is true. Let's say she was just in the upper groin area. That's way too close, my man. You're $1 million man. You should not even be putting yourself in that situation, or you should be signing or making, I don't know, look for people that do that kind of work.
I would just get men. If I would just get men, like, just so you don't have to deal with that situation at all. Like, you're never gonna come across.
That's what Tom Brady does. Tom Brady got a man massaging him all the time, and he's not getting in hot water with his missus.
But again, if it was Matthew Stafford, if this was any other, if it was a white quarterback, that would be fine. Look at, for instance, I know it's not even the same situation, but Joe Flacco is getting another fucking shot to become a quarterback. Like, they're bringing him in to work him out. So it just shows the difference. Look at Colin Kaepernick; didn't get one fucking chance to prove himself. Like, it sucks.
With coaches,
mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with coaches. If you're a black head coach, you get an opportunity. You might get a second, but they bring back white head coaches who have had losing records everywhere they've ever been.
Jeff Fisher,
or they've only had success in college. So yeah, but I think part of that is every job I've ever gotten has been essentially from a referral, with the exception of 2 to 3. Somebody that worked there. You knew somebody in college, and you guys worked together on that football team. That's how a lot of these guys are getting these head coaching jobs. And these black head coaches just aren't in those social circles. They aren't in those fraternities. So until the jobs start getting passed out strictly on the interviews and merit, knowing people is going to be the best way to get a head coaching.
And the issue, another thing, to cut you off, but the issue is too is that, like, I get mad at the players because they don't want to stand their ground with the CBA. Empower yourself. Like, I feel like the NFLPA is one of the worst out of the top 3. Like, why are you not having these guys ready to go to the wire to get what you guys need and deserve? But no, everybody's selfish. You just need 1,500 votes, the majority of the wins. So even if Aaron Rodgers was to come out and say, guys, we should not vote on this CBA, which some of the mid-level guys came out and said, let's not vote for the CBA, they did anyway, because everybody was selfish, and it is in their own self-interest, because they want to go and overspend because they never came into money before, and they put themselves in these bad situations. That's where we're at now.
And a CBA for the NFL is so terrible because of all the people who should have guaranteed contracts. It's the guy that every game I go out, I'm risking injury, and not just regular injury, but catastrophic injury. And also, I'm expected to play with injuries. If a basketball player jams a finger, nobody wants to put him on the
Hey, Brandon,
field,
we're gonna come right back. Hey, live audience right now. We still haven't upgraded to the money Zoom shit. We're still trying to test these waters. We're gonna come right back. We're gonna take a quick pause, and we're gonna get back into this bit. We all good? Are we ready to rock and roll?
We're ready to rock and roll.
All right, cool. So Uncle Salty, you were saying about the CBA and how the guaranteed money, especially for the injuries, is really tough on these players. I mean, they get paid the least, and they put their body on the line the most.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because a lot of the other leagues do a really good job. The baseball union is exceptionally good. They only had one strike the entire time. Their players get very well taken care of. And football, it's really, they use you up and they spit you out. And a union is supposed to prevent your employer from doing just that, from using you up and spitting you out. And the football players union, I don't really think it helps them with that. Very, very little.
Yeah, that really sucks. I just think that the players in the baseball, man, they don't give a fuck, bro. If it sucks, they're like, we're not playing. That's it. We don't play. And the NFL, like you were saying, there's just too many middle level guys that are willing that are the only ones willing to put their thing on the line. Because Brady's not going to strike, Rodgers is not going to strike, some of these other big names are not going to strike, and they're just gonna, truck along because the big name guys are the ones who get taken care of the most. So realistically,
but even if the issue is, even if they do strike, it doesn't hurt them. Like, they're gonna get outvoted anyway. So if all the top guys came together, it's what, maybe 200. So you still got the other 1,300 who are not making the top 1% of the cap. So you got, like, Russell Wilson takes 25% of the cap. That's it. Like, there's nobody else. Like, the only way it would work is these guys who don't go and put if they have 5 kids, all 5 kids in a private school, where each of them are gonna pay 10, 20,000 per kid, and then you go get a house that you can't afford. You go get 2-3 cars, you get a house for your mom, you get a house for Uncle Dennis, you get a house for this person, and now you're strapped for cash. And now, like, people look at you crazy where you're getting $500,000 a week, but you're living paycheck to paycheck because you don't know how to use your funds. And that's what happens.
The regular players, the guys that you're talking about, these aren't rich guys. This might be their one opportunity to play in the league. And the average career is only 3.5 years. Mm-hmm. So if I'm a guy and I'm only making, $1 million a season, and folks, please forgive me for saying only making $1 million. It is relative to what the big guys are playing. I'm not going to forego my opportunity for 1 year to strike. I only have 3 years of my life to strike. So it's. I don't think they're going to improve the situation very much for the players in the near future.
I didn't want to digress too much. I mean, me and H get on this motherfucker all the time and just complain about the CBA, and really the owners keep screwing these guys. And me and Uncle Salty off air, I was telling you on how upset I get that we don't pay the guys, or not we specifically, the ownership doesn't play. You could have the greatest season ever, right, and still not get paid, right? And they try to lowball you, and then they give you a contract that's built with incentives, like, oh, you're a one-hit wonder, papa, you're not even going to do that again. You know what I mean? And then you talked last week, H, more so about not even getting paid on potential. So this whole thing is terrible. And then now this comes out right in the midst where, a prominent black quarterback doesn't want to play for a terrible institution, because now they're considered an institution because they got inmates or whatever they call it. Yeah, asylum. I don't even know what the fuck is going on over there. I wouldn't even want to play in that team. But we all get that, and it sucks. I hope it's not true. And to be honest with you, you know what it looks like this is trending towards? I'm gonna say it right now in the air because it's been going crazy on Twitter. Deshaun Watson is going to be a New England Patriot because fucking Bill Belichick doesn't give a flying fuck about a checkered past and cares about what guys do on the field. And with that team that they're building, if they get Deshaun, it's a wrap.
The owner won't have any problem with bringing Deshaun.
He might be able to help him find some spots. He might be able to. He be like, yo, pa, you messing up. Don't go to Florida. Don't go to Texas. We got it down up here in New England. We got some places in Rhode Island where nobody cares.
Oh, they pull up to us and sign NDAs. They pull up to us and sign NDAs. That's what Bob Kraft probably starts doing now. Hey, sign this NDA, 7 pages, front and back.
Dude,
sign.
Listen, when the kids blow up, that's the 2 things. That's the 2 rules. To hang out with me, I want the phone at the door in a Ziploc bag that has like some gizmo in there that turns it off. And I want an NDNA that you sign right here
Derek
because you ain't
Jeter
hanging.
slayed so much pussy, and you never heard one peep. The only thing that ever came out
What
of Derek
would Jeter
Jeter
do?
was the taxes supposedly he avoided in Florida. But besides that, he slayed so much pussy, and any party you ever had, you had to leave your phone at the front door.
It's not what would Jesus do. It's what would Jeter do.
There you go. We're gonna make shirts with that shit. That's gonna be the new airing it out shirt. What would
Alright.
Jeter do?